So, today we're going to break down what might be one of the most incredible animal rescue projects ever. We're talking about a mission to find loving homes for over 100 stray dogs all at once in this single massive undertaking. 100. Just let that number sink in. Not 10, not 20, 100 dogs all brought to this huge sanctuary for one reason and one reason only, to find every single one of them a forever family. I mean, the scale of this is just nuts. And you have to understand, the stakes were unbelievably high. This wasn't just about finding them a nice place to live. It was literally a life or death mission. A lot of these dogs came straight from kill shelters. Their time was almost up. So this whole project, it was their last chance. All right, so how do you even begin to tackle a problem this big? Well, the first step was to build an army. You needed an incredible team with the resources to match this crazy ambition. And when I say an army, I mean it. This wasn't just about cages and food. They hired trainers, walkers, and, get this, professional scratchers, all dedicated to one thing, making sure these dogs were happy, healthy, and feeling loved, ready for their new lives. So, they had the dogs and the team. What about the adoptions? Well, they didn't just, open the doors and cross their fingers. No, they actually engineered this really sophisticated system to find the absolute perfect match for every single dog. And their process was super thorough. First, they launched this massive statewide ad campaign to get the word out. Then, every single person who applied had to go through extensive background checks. Safety first, right? After that came the actual matchmaking. But it was that last step that was the real game changer. Lifelong support for every adopted dog. And that whole lifelong support thing, it led to some pretty incredible moments. I mean, imagine you've just found your perfect dog, you're so excited, and then they tell you there's a surprise. This adopter's reaction, it really says it all. So why was she crying? Well, thanks to some amazing sponsors, every single adopter got free pet food and free pet insurance for the entire life of their dog. That just removes this huge financial worry. And for one amazing woman who was already taking care of 6 rescues, they threw in a $10,000 cash surprise. Incredible. And you know what? The system was working like a charm. By the end of just the second day, 44 dogs already had homes. But a new challenge started to pop up. The super cute, fluffy, easy-to-adopt dogs were finding homes first. That left behind the older dogs and the ones with special needs. And that very challenge brings us to the real emotional core of this story. It brings us to one specific dog who became the ultimate underdog. This is Buffett. He's an older dog, and he only has 3 legs after being hit by a car. He was just the sweetest, most loving dog, but family after family just passed him over. He quickly became the single hardest dog to find a home for. And this absolutely heartbreaking pattern started to emerge. A family would come, they'd connect with Buffett, play with him, but then, at the last second, they'd choose another dog instead. You can just imagine how crushing that was for the team watching this happen. And then it happened again. Another potential family met him, saw what a great dog he was, but in the end, they walked away. The rejections were just piling up, and it was becoming pretty clear that Buffett was going to need a different kind of help. So what do you do when one sweet dog just keeps getting overlooked? Well, you dedicate $50,000 to fixing the problem. I mean, seriously, this is where you really see how committed this team was. All that money went into a massive, custom-built marketing campaign with one goal and one goal only, to find Buffett a home. The team absolutely refused to let him be left behind. And you know what? It worked. The campaign got a huge boost from the celebrity Dave Bautista, and finally, the perfect adopter came along. Someone who saw the amazing dog, not just the injury. Buffett found his family. They even had a custom prosthetic leg made for him and gave his new owner $10,000 just to make sure he'd have the best life ever. So, with Buffett's story having a happy ending, the focus shifted. It was now the final act. A race against the clock to find homes for the last, most difficult-to-place dogs that were still there. You can just feel the tension building as the final days unfolded. The number of dogs kept dropping, but that almost made it harder. With fewer options, finding that perfect family for each of the last few dogs got more and more intense, until only one was left. And then there was one. Her name was Dora Lee. In this really tough moment, her last friend in the kennel got adopted, leaving her totally alone in that huge sanctuary. The weight of the entire project now rested on finding a home for her. But Dorley had a guardian angel, Dave Bautista, who had really fallen for her, made a promise. He said if no one else stepped up, he would adopt her himself. No matter what, she was going to have a home. And then the perfect person walked in. Dorley was adopted. It actually happened. And to celebrate this huge milestone, the 100th and final dog finding a home, her new owner got a surprise of their own, $20,000 in cash. What a perfect ending. But the impact of this thing went so far beyond just the adoptions. A $100,000 donation was made to the sanctuary so they can save even more animals. On top of that, $50,000 went to the volunteers as bonuses for their hard work, and another key sponsor kicked in $50,000 more for the shelter. So when you look back, the legacy is just so clear. 100 at-risk dogs are now safe and loved. A sanctuary has the funds to keep going. A bunch of amazing volunteers were rewarded for their passion. And maybe most importantly, millions of people got to see a whole new way of thinking about animal rescue on a massive scale. This whole incredible effort, with all the creativity and all the resources, saved 100 lives. And that just leaves us with one giant, lingering question. If this is what it takes to save 100 dogs, what on earth is it going to take to save the millions that are still out there?